There's a quote I heard a long time ago that really haunted me when I read it by Eric Hoffer. It says, "A man is likely to mind his own business when it is worth minding. When it is not, he takes his mind off his own meaningless affairs by minding other people's business." And it's a bit harsh, and there's a little bit of a rush of um, wow, I don't really trust my own life to be enough. And that's terrifying. And so by minding other people's business, you just skate over that terrifying reality. And but meanwhile, there's another thing that's also kind of true, maybe, that we are our brothers and sisters' keeper. Like there's no one's an island. We don't just we all depend on each other to some extent, and it's nice when we can help each other. But also true, some people don't really want to be helped or are using your help to distract themselves from finding their own way in life. And you can't and if you kind of cut that supply off, they might do something stupid, or they might have a tantrum. I mean, the question is, like, how much of that is your responsibility? And I think we all have to kind of figure it out for ourselves, but it can be really hard to feel like we're responsible for someone and it's very one-sided. That there are times when that's dysfunctional and unfair and unhelpful. I mean, unhelpful to either party, actually, because the person being helped is actually being prevented from looking deep into whatever they need to look into. And they might still not do it if you cut off their supply, and you don't have control over that. And that's hard because you can feel responsible for what they do, even though you're not usually. Unless they're your child, your responsibility is more limited than a lot of people realize. Um, but then there's another layer to it, which is, well, but entire sectors of the population are being repressed. And am I supposed to just leave them to their own devices because they're less powerful than I am? Because, I mean, first of all, it's wrong that it's happening, in my opinion. And second, it can come for me next, and my family, and my kids. So it's quite a jumbled subject of whose business should we be minding. But generally speaking, I'm trying to move more toward not messing around trying to live everyone else's lives, or fixing everyone else's lives. Um, my advice to other people is generally live your life, trust your life, trust it's enough. Like, what if Rilke or Thoreau had been messing around trying to live everyone else's lives, or been messing around trying to um, like argue with um, people online, right? People who might be bots, people who probably don't have good faith, people who don't know very much. It's um, I mean, obviously Rilke helped somebody by sending letters to a young poet. when he felt like doing that. And Thoreau made his opinions about slavery and the Mexican War very clear, not by arguing, just by putting it out there and like, there it is, take it or leave it. And he briefly went to jail for refusing to pay tax because of the Mexican War. And, if that's what you feel called to do that. That's not, I'm not going to say he shouldn't have done that. But I think the distinction is like, did he felt called to do that. He felt clear about doing that. Whereas most people who are arguing politics feel muddled and they're just playing out trauma. I know I mostly am. Not entirely. I mean, there's my little hummingbird. The tiniest little hummingbird eats his fill of our cypress vine all day long. I love it. Especially when he comes at breakfast. Um, Always being interrupted by nature. But yeah, playing out trauma. I can feel it in my body right now just talking about it. Uh, and the way the left and the right talk about each other, both of them as if like they're incorrigible, they're immoral, they're ignorant. They just need to see the light. And obviously, I mean, I think facts and morality lean heavily in one direction. They think the opposite. And, they're basing it partly on what I consider brainwashing, but they think I'm brainwashed. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like we all have so much more in common than we have away from each other, but everything in our political climate, everything in our social media environment rewards being as divisive as possible, divide and conquer. And so we're all like sort of yammering at each other while the oligarchs just clean us out, all of us. And maybe, for all I know, that's exactly what needs to happen. Like, we've had gilded ages and depressions before that led to something new, right? So maybe, like, all of it, maybe Donald Trump will be remembered as someone who finally broke a lot of humanity's illusions, brought a lot of shadow to the surface, and created a new and better world, you know? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. None of us knows. So, like, okay, what? I'm just going to sit on my hands? No, you're going to do what you feel called to do. Do what you genuinely like, what sets you on fire. That quote I love. It's like, let me see if I can find it real quick. Quote by Howard Thurman. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That's Howard Thurman, The Living Wisdom of Howard Thurman. So, yeah, what a concept. Sort of living in alignment, or sorry, living not in opposition to bullshit, but in alignment with truth and love. It's so subversive right now, and also feels so silent because everything else is so loud. And it reminds me of my own system, because my own system has a belief that being in reality, being in the body, being in what non-dualists call truth is weak. It's like weak sauce, like new agey, namby-pamby, oh, my feelings, like it's something soft. It's something nebulous. It's something you can dismiss. It's quiet. Forget about it. The mind, this belief says, is where reality actually is. The mind is where it's sharp. The mind is where it's important. The mind is where it's safe. The mind is where I have some power. Um, Reality, it's so ephemeral, and beliefs feel like something you've pinned down, something you've got in the bank, you know? In your cosmic pocket. He who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise, also lives at the complete mercy of eternity. Never know what you're going to get. But yeah, that's a belief that thoughts are what's important, or the discourse is what's important. Mainstream media is what's important. Influencers are what's important. Not you, not little old me. And the Carl Jung quote, he who looks without dreams, he who looks within awakes. That's a terrifying thing to look within, because you just don't know what's there. If you look outside, you can pretend you know. You can pin yourself to somebody else. That freedom is terrifying. Most people would rather die than face that actual freedom. Yeah, I recently watched a video by Adyashanti when he talked about a man in jail, in prison, who woke up and realized prison was just a belief. In any given moment, he's simply in whatever environment he's in. It's just how things are right now. Um, and Adyashanti said, "We're all doing time." Most of us are in prison more than that guy is, because we believe things should not be how they are. Um, Another monarch coming through. But yeah, once you get rid of the idea of prison, effectively you're not in prison anymore at any given moment. Um, and it's funny how, why do I feel like I'm in prison? Because like, oh, well, there's a genocide and I can't stop it. Oh, my parents have problems. I'm in prison because my body has heavy stuff. I don't know how to get rid of it. I'm in prison because people are saying ignorant things and other people are believing them. I'm in prison because I have fewer rights as a woman. I mean, that's just a fact. I don't have right to make medical decisions for myself in Oklahoma. Um, or I can just say, well, these are the strange circumstances I find myself in. Now, there are people who get hurt a lot worse than I do. And it feels icky to tell victims, like, oh, you're a victim of genocide. You're in a super racist country, taking your rights away. Because I'm in a position where even though my rights have been stripped, I could get around that if I needed to. A lot of people are not. Um, or maybe you're being literally enslaved. Well, that's just the environment you find yourself in. Make the most of it. I mean, who am I to ask anybody to do that? I guess it's not, the point is not that I have to ask anyone to do anything. The point is, when you do find yourself, whatever situation you find yourself in, you do have that choice to some extent. And I could feel it sometimes in Palestine, because they're under military occupation, but they were having a better time than a lot of people are having, in part because there's a sense of solidarity. Obviously, Gaza is different. I mean, Jesus Christ. Um, and the West Bank's getting much, much worse. A lot of people are losing that ability to compartmentalize because it's gotten so much worse. People are killing themselves. People are turning on each other. In some cases, I think most of the time they're hanging together remarkably well, considering. But it's hard. It's 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 harder than most Americans would even begin to imagine behaving as well in the face of these circumstances. If that happened in America, oh my God, maybe it will. Maybe that's where we're headed. Um, but yeah, what responsibility do we have for each other? What responsibility do we have for ourselves? And where do those dovetail? Like, thank God Rilke did what he felt like doing. Thank God Thoreau did what he felt like doing. Thank God some humans managed to get out of the of that and build something, create something, or simply live something. Because you don't have to be a writer, you don't have to make a movie, you don't have to sculpt clay, you don't have to be a painter, you don't have to be a dancer, you don't have to be a musician, you don't have to. I mean, there's many the let the beauty we love be what we do. There are thousands of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. I think that's a Rumi quote. And it's all, there's no hierarchy. There's no like writers are better than dancers. It's like, I mean, if all you do is stay in a cave and worship God, or stay on a beach and worship God, I don't know what that means. If all you do is find joy, delight in what is, and accept yourself when you can't, that's something. That's pretty rare. That's pretty amazing. And you never know what effect it's going to have. You literally have no idea. I mean, I don't think by planting cypress vine and looking at hummingbirds, I'm going to change politics, but it changes something. It seems worthwhile.